Alright guys, I'm going to be setting up my AeroGarden Extra LED here, and I'm going to make this video over a couple weeks, because maybe even a couple months, because I want to show the growth and how it's working. So the Extra LED and almost all the AeroGardens comes with a, this is the salsa one. They almost all come with an herb kit. So I have an herb kit, 7 herbs, picked a couple out of here that I'm going to use. But I also bought the salsa garden kit, 2 cherry tomatoes and 1 jalapeno comes in here. So in the kits you get your seeds, and you get some little toppers, and then you get your plant food. So I got 2 bottles of plant food and all the seeds I need. So to set it up, I'm going to just use 5 of the 7 holes I have here, and I decided to go with the jalapenos here, and then I have heirloom cherry tomatoes, and then I'm going to have chives and cilantro, and these are just kind of extras. I'm going to put these in the front here, and then I also in here just have empty. These are just empty ones, and they're just for spacers. So that's going to be the start of my garden and how I'm going to do it here. Just got to make sure those are kind of pushed in, and they all seem to be. So I have my tomatoes and back jalapeno and a couple herbs that I can trim back as I want. Now it says on the plant food bottle here to shake well, and it says for a 3-pod garden use 4 milliliter, and for a 6 to 7 use 8 milliliter on startup. So I'm doing 5 plants, and it says 4 and 8 milliliters depending on how many plants. So I'm going to do about 6 milliliters, maybe 7, right in the middle, because I got just under 6-7 plants. So I've got about 7 milliliters here, which is fine. Pour that into my reservoir here. Now when you start this, it's going to be in germination mode on the pump, and that's going to run 1 hour every 12 hours. For high growth, you can have the pump run 24/7, but you don't want to have that selected until your plants are sprouted and starting to grow. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm just kind of flipping these so the writing's all forward, not like it matters. So we're going to turn it on. I'm going to show you a couple of steps you have to do, and then we'll keep checking on it every couple weeks, or every couple days probably. So let me plug it in here, and it's going to start up. And what we want to do to start now, we want to select what we're going to be growing, and ours are going to be vegetables. And we also want to press and hold select for 3 seconds, and everything's going to blink. That's going to reset all the timers, everything. So let me get back to vegetables. Alright, so now everything's reset, and it's starting, and we're in a 16-hour time. Now it's the middle of the day. Tomorrow morning, or whenever I want to start the lights and have them be the beginning of the cycle, I can press and hold this on button for 3 seconds, and that'll make the timer start at that time. But this is in my pot room. It really doesn't matter when the light's on too much. For me, it won't bother me. The pump, like I said, you're going to leave it on germination, and once they sprout in a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, put it on high growth. So that's it for now. I'll come back in a few days once they start sprouting, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, it's been 7 days. I've actually got a Sequoia garden here that I'm going to be planting lettuce seed kits into. But it's been 7 days, so let's look at what we got. Our cilantro is sprouted. Don't see the jalapeno yet or the chives yet, but both of our red heirloom tomatoes have sprouted and are coming in. So this is 1 week exactly after planting. We'll come back and keep checking on them. And I'm going to be planting these in a couple days. I have a little time schedule going on where I'm going to be gone for a couple days. So I want to plant these right before I go, because the lettuce supposedly sprouts and starts growing really quick. So I don't want it to start growing while I'm out of town for a couple days too much. So we'll come back in a few days and check on them again. Alright everyone, it is now September 11th. I planted these September 1st, so it's 10 days in. And we've taken the lids off. If we look at the tomatoes and peppers here, it says right here, when the plants are 2 inch tall, snip and make sure there's just 1 healthy plant in each pod. So with the cilantro over here, I left multiple stalks, but in the mini jalapeno here, just got one healthy one. And same with both my red heirloom tomatoes here, cherry tomatoes. They're doing great. The only thing that hasn't sprouted yet are the chives, but they take a long time to sprout, so there's a chance that they are still coming, but I have not seen them yet. Now I have a second AeroGarden, and I'm going to be planting in here some salad greens. Now they have two salad green kits. They got a salad green kit which contains 7 growing salad greens. The only problem with this kit that I read in the reviews was all they say on them is salad greens, and you don't know exactly what type of salad greens are in there. It's supposed to be a mix, but they don't tell you what type. So then there's this other kit they have, which is the heirloom salad greens, and it just has 3 pods, and it has black seeded Simpson, deer tongue, and Paris Island lettuce. So there's 3 distinct types of lettuce in here. So I'm going to be using these 3 distinct types of lettuces, and then I'm going to be using 4 of the random lettuces out of this box. We're going to be setting that up in this AeroGarden. I might have shown in my last clip, I added a Whisper 10, got a check valve and a dual air thing there. So both of our AeroGardens now have bubblers in there, and they have holes which are meant for adding the bubblers. So let me go ahead and get this second AeroGarden all set up. Alright, so it's September 11th, and we have all of the salad greens planted here. The 3 specific types in the front row, and then the salad greens in the back. Find out what those happen to be. And I'm actually going on a little road trip for a couple days, so I'll be back in about 4 days from now, and I'm going to leave these loose. As you see, I haven't pushed them all the way down, because if these plants sprout quick, I want them to be able to just get out of here. So I just put those on loosely here. I haven't pushed them down and tightened them on. That way if the plants grow, they can get their way out of there. So we'll come back in about 4 days and check on these again. Alright guys, it is September 15th now. It's been 4 days since I planted this salad greens, and every single one has sprouted. So that's pretty nice. Every single one sprouted. Another couple days till we take off the domes. And it's the 15th of September. It's been exactly 2 weeks for these. Everything's sprouted except the chives still. They've got a few more days I'll give them. They still have 6 more days before we get to the 21 days it says the max. So this is what they're looking like at 2 weeks. And this is 4 days and they're sprouting. So we'll keep checking on them in a few more days. Now it's 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you add nutrients. So I'm going to go ahead and add nutrients to this. Don't have to do it on camera. But I add 8 milliliters of this every 2 weeks into there. So I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll check on them in a few days. Sorry about my birds. Alright guys, so it's September 19th now. I've gone ahead and put some aluminum foil around. AeroGarden sells some kits to put some of their own reflective material around it. Not the front, just the 2 sides and the back. I did it with aluminum foil because it's cheap and easy. So it's September 19th, and this AeroGarden here has been running for now 18 days. And I looked up online actually, and it said you could set this from 1 hour out of 12 of running the pump to high growth, 24-hour on, once they're germinated by 2 weeks old. So I'm actually going to be turning this on a couple days late, but that's fine. So we're going to turn it up to high growth. Go ahead and do that now. We'll leave that on now for the majority of the life. And we can see here this back right tomato is doing awesome, looking really nice and big. The one over here on the left isn't quite as big, but he's looking healthy and growing good. Chives haven't sprouted yet. I don't know if they're going to, but I'm going to give them a few more days. It's been 18 days, so they say up to 21. So we'll give them a few more days before we call that one quits. Jalapeno's looking great, and the cilantro is growing a lot as well. So that's what they look like after 18 days, and it's September 19th now, and we just turned on high growth. So we'll come back in 2 to 3 days and check on them and see what happens with that high growth on now. Go ahead and get this one closed and kind of shaped right again. And now this is our salad greens, and I looked up online and it said once the salad greens are sprouted and growing, you can turn them onto high growth. So let's go ahead and turn them up to high growth. And geez, I forget right now. I said it earlier in this video when I planted them. I'll put a a written thing in the video, this video here, of how many days it's been since I planted these, but we'll go ahead and take a look here. Everything's doing great. The salad greens marked just salad greens. It looks like these two, as well as the one on this side, are all the same. Not sure oh sorry, not that one, this one. This one and these two look the same. Not sure exactly what type of plant that is. If anyone knows, you can tell me. I'll probably figure it out in time. And then we have this one that seems to be something different because it's growing at a much different rate than the ones in the other ones. Then we got our three specific types up here. All of them are also growing very well, especially this one over here, the black seeded Simpson. So we got them on high growth now, and we will go ahead, get them closed up, and come back again and check in a couple days, see how they're doing. Alright guys, it's now September 24th. That means this has been about 23 days, and this has been about 13 days, I believe. This was planted on, I think, the 11th or 10th, and this was on the 1st of September. Now with the salad greens, you'll see here the back four are all the same actually. They've turned out, this one's just growing slower. But that's from their salad greens kit, which they say is a mixture of different salads, romaines, and such. But everyone that reviews this says they pretty much got 7 of the same plants. So they're growing nice, but I don't know what they are. And then down here we got our 3 specific types, which I've shown before, all doing great. Those are from the 3-piece heirloom salad set where you get specific types. There's a 7-piece heirloom as well where you get specific types, so I'd recommend going with the specific types rather than just the salad green. But they're all growing great, as you can see from the last video. A lot bigger, starting to get growing really, really nice now. Over here everything is well. We have our tomatoes in back. This one on the right's growing awesome. Left one's growing good too, just a little smaller than the right one. Our cilantro is really growing nice. There's a lot of it there. So far it's not getting in the way of any sun, so I'm letting it grow, but I'll prune it when it starts getting in the way. And the jalapeno here also doing awesome. As we showed in the last video, it's all on high growth, and I've got those air bubblers in there. So we're going to go ahead and give it a few more days and come and check on them. I'd say in a week we might be able to get some lettuce out of here. It's still pretty small leaves, but in a week they might be pretty big leaves there. So that's what it looks like on September 24th. It's September 27th now, and as you can see, I've moved my AeroGardens. I've got them on the same white stand now because I'm going to be getting AeroGarden's auto-filling system and using it for both of these. It's meant for one, but it'll work for two. I'm going to maybe do a video on how to make it work for two. It's real simple. And if we look here, now on the 27th, our lettuce and salad greens here are doing amazing. This one in back is so much bigger than it was in the last video. They're all thriving and doing really, really great. Over here, our lone tomato plant over here, doing awesome. A little smaller than the one on the right, but doing really good, looking really healthy. Chives, they're not coming. If they were gonna, they would have sprouted by now. So I'll use that for, I'll just reuse this and put a seed in there of whatever I want later. Jalapeno doing great. The cilantro is really doing awesome. Let me raise this lid up a little bit so we can see better. This cilantro is just going crazy. It's not quite covering the tomato in back, but it's starting to grow crazy. I'll have to prune it soon. And the tomato in back's doing awesome still too. Now I did take a quick pruning off of the salad greens. You can't even notice, but I'll go ahead and show you. I did it for my bearded dragon and birds, gave them a little taste of it. But you can't tell in the video that I pruned anything. I'll show you real quick what I pruned, and then we'll stop back in a couple days, and hopefully I'll have that water system on, and we'll see what the growth is doing in a few days. Alright, so that's what I cut out to give to my bearded dragon. Might give like a half of this to my birds too. I might rip this in half. And as you can see here, I lowered the lights. With these LEDs, there's really no heat, so you can get the lights really close. If you got the compact fluorescent version, you can get it pretty close as well, but those give off a little heat, so you gotta be careful. So I'm going to go ahead, close them up, and we'll come back in a few days and check on them again. Alright everyone, it's now October 1st, and as you can see, everything's still growing amazingly. I do have an extra pot here that I've got some red and green pepper plant put in there. So that'll be growing. I got a light for it over here that you can't see, but I just turned it on. And for now, I'm just using the light from this for the potted plant, but that's going to be nothing we talk about much in this video. Alright, it's now October 4th, and you can see this growth is amazing. I'm going to be trimming the cilantro here because it's getting in the way of that tomato back there. Which the tomato's still doing fine, doing great, but they're getting intertwined too much. And jalapeno's doing great up front. Just too much cilantro, got to cut some of it out. Some of it's not getting very good sunlight either. Salad greens doing really, really amazing. Everything's growing really big and full there. So I'm going to just trim the cilantro and then I'll show you guys real quick after I trim it. Alright, so I know it's kind of still crowded in here, but as you can see the plants are separated. Still got a lot of cilantro growing, but check how much I harvested. Tons. Now a couple of the pieces were a little dry, the bottom ones, but the rest of it's great. And I dry out my herbs when I have too much. I've got a, what do you call those things? Dehydrator. So I'll dehydrate some of this and keep it dry. But doing great. Again, this is October 4th, and we'll check back in a few days. Alright, so here's the lettuce, but I'm going to be trimming a little bit of this, so I wanted to show it before and after trimming. This is October 5th, and I'll show you in a second what I trimmed. Alright, so this is what it looks like after trimming some. As you can see, still looks full. Should be able to prune more at any time, and it'll keep growing. But I got a really big bowl here. This is bigger than a normal bowl. It's a pretty darn big bowl, really full, and a little bit extra for my animals here. So that's a lot. Just wanted to show it, and we'll check it again in a few more days. Alright guys, so it's October 6th, and I'm going to be doing something here. My cilantro here is growing so fast and crazy, I want to get it out of here. So I'm going to be putting it in this pot, and I just dug out a hole that's about the size of the little container that the plant was in to begin with, in the AeroGarden. I'm going to be putting this under a different light. So it should be easy to pull out here. Going to have a lot of roots coming. Don't want to grab my tomato here and get stuck. Kind of getting stuck here. I'm just going to pop off the branch. Okay, we got it off there. So now we have a nice root system. Might have to make this hole a little bit larger so I can make sure to get that in as good as I can. And we're just going to go ahead and put that down into the dirt here, and I'm going to put some more dirt around it. I'm doing this with one hand, so I'm going to get this fixed up. But I'm going to be putting it down here, and it's going to be next to my green and red peppers that are growing in here. And I've got my light up here. It's a 24-watt LED. Turn that thing on, and it's going to get it all nice and growing. So, just a little update. So it's still October 6th. As you can see, I got this planted. It looks like it's going to be doing fine. And I'm going to be trimming some lettuce for a salad tonight, salad greens for a salad tonight. So I'll show you now after I cut it how much I take out. But that's what it looks like before cutting. Alright, so I've cut all this, and it's a lot. And it still looks almost the same, honestly. I mean, you could tell a little bit. But I'm getting a lot of salads out of this. Let's check it in a few days. Alright guys, it's October 8th. As you can see how big they are now. I also threw this plant in. This is a plant from outside that I cut. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's a yellow pepper that I'm trying to get rooted and then try to plant it in a pot in here. So I'm just seeing if that'll root. I don't know if it will. And then over here's our lettuce. Salad greens doing amazing. And I know this isn't AeroGarden, but I've got some green and red pepper sprouting. But I'm going to trim this and prune it. So I'm going to show you how much I take off here. Alright, so this is how much I pruned it. I took out a very good amount actually. This is a pretty darn big bowl, and there's a lot. I cut out a lot. My girlfriend eats a few salads per week, like 4, and it's been keeping up. Alright, it's now October 10th, and in the AeroGarden, tons of greens. My girlfriend's, I'm going to turn off this purple light. My girlfriend's been eating like 4 or 5 salads out of here every week, and it still just keeps growing. Tons of greens in there. I'm going to trim some more. Over here, everything's doing great. Jalapeno plant's huge. I'm actually going to trim a couple of these back leaves so it doesn't cover up the smaller cherry tomato plants. But everything's doing great, and if we look on the jalapeno here, see if I can show you some. Starting to get flowers coming in all over the place. It's hard to find them all on camera here. But starting to get little flowers that are about to start growing like all over the place. So we should get soon all these little flowers, and then soon after a lot of jalapenos. And it looks like the tomatoes are starting to maybe produce some flowers there as well. So that's looking awesome. Gonna go ahead and trim some, and then I'll show you what I took out and what I've done. Alright, so after trimming, another big salad. This is like the 5th huge salad. Like, that's a lot. This is a big bowl. This is not a standard bowl. So you can see how big it is compared to my hand. And lots of salad greens. And then I just cut off some leaves of the jalapeno plant, just some big leaves. And now they'll less covering on the tomato plants back there. I cut off the leaves that were kind of hanging over. So now there's less covering. And as you can see, tons of greens still left. You can get a lot of salads out of these, but we're just going to keep letting them grow and keep using them as we want, but they're growing amazing. So we'll check back in a few days. Alright everyone, it's now October 18th, and I'm going to stop showing the salad greens anymore because I've been cutting them, getting salads off them multiple times a week, big salads. It works great. So if you want to grow salad greens, it works amazingly. But we're going to keep watching the jalapeno and cherry tomatoes for another couple weeks until we get some fruit growing. And you can see back here we have some flowers coming on the cherry tomatoes. And the jalapenos, we should be starting to get some starting to grow here as well. So they're looking great, they're doing amazing. I'm going to trim a couple of the leaves off the jalapeno up here that are kind of blocking the cherry tomatoes. But other than that, this is how it looks on the 18th, and we'll check back in a few days. Alright guys, it's now October 31st. It's been just about 2 months that these have been up, and I went on vacation for a few days. I know I said I'm not going to show the salads anymore, but I went on vacation. I was gone for about 4 or 5 days, and these were cut down to almost nothing. We had tons of salad, and now they're huge again. So more salad, those have been growing awesome. And then here, we're almost getting, or actually we are getting some fruits coming up. Here we have a jalapeno growing, and then there's a couple more that are starting. This one's just going to drop its feathers soon. One right here as well. Lots of jalapenos starting. And then we also have lots of tomatoes going. I got to do some trimming. I was gone, like I said, for a few days. I got to trim some of these deader branches that aren't getting as much light and trim some of the higher leaves up on the jalapeno. But I'll get that done off video. It's just going to be a few leaves I cut off. Back here you can see 3 tomatoes starting to grow, and I'm sure there's more hidden back in that I can't see right now. I'm sure there's some on this plant as well, but it's harder to get into currently. But as we can see, we are growing our fruits, so we'll check back in a few days to a week and see how many more we get going. But looking really awesome. Got to refill my tanks here. They just went empty yesterday. I found that with these, it's best to, once they're empty, it's best to give the AeroGardens about a day to get their water level a little bit low. Then when you put these back on, the siphon will want to siphon some through to fill the tank, and it'll clear out any air bubbles. So it works better if you let them sit like a day, even 2 days after they're empty, because you got plenty of water still in there for a couple days. So we'll check back in a week and see how it is. Alright, it's now November 10th. I've taken out half of the salad greens, the rest are still growing. They just keep growing like crazy. And over here, let's check out these. They're getting some good stuff. The tomato plants are staying shorter than the jalapeno here. Check out all these jalapenos we have. Lots growing, I'd say 10 or so. And there's going to be more coming in. As you can see, we still have lots of little things that are going to be turning into jalapenos soon as well. So tons of jalapenos. They're just going to keep growing. We're going to get, I don't even know, a lot of them off here. Let's go for the tomatoes here. And we have a lot of tomatoes on each plant as well. You can see a few in this frame. See a couple more back here. Haven't got any red yet. And the jalapenos are kind of small still. They're not quite ready to be picked. But I'd say we have, let's see, I'm trying to show you guys when I can see them. I have like probably at least 10 tomatoes on this plant. And this plant over here is harder to see. But here's a little group. Tomatoes there. There's one over there. There's a little group starting here. And there's a couple more farther back. So when they get red, they'll probably stick out easier for us to see. But it's November 10th. They've been planted a little over 2 months now, 2 months and 10 days. And it looks like around the 2.5, 3 month mark is when we'll start getting some red ones. And the jalapenos also about 2.5, 3 months is when they'll start being ready to take off and use. But that is November 10th. We'll check back in a week or so once they start. Alright guys, it's November 12th and we've come across a little problem. Salad's all gone. We've gotten that out and eaten all of it. But now I've noticed, no idea how these got in here. I've only planted from seeds inside and, you know, haven't brought anything in from outside. And this room is in my house in an area that no one goes in and out of except for me, and I don't bring in bugs. But we have bugs, if you can see them, aphids, and they're growing on some of the leaves. There you go, a lot of them on that leaf. So I'm going to be cutting off all the leaves that I see them on, and I also ordered ladybugs. Ladybugs eat aphids. So we're going to try to salvage the plants because they look fine. It doesn't look like they're, you know, dying yet or anything like that. They should be fine. Now there is some pesticide type things, homemade even. You can do like water and soap mixes. But we're going to get some ladybugs and we'll go ahead and see if they take care of our problem. But this is November 12th. Lots of growth, lots of tomatoes growing in. So hopefully we can salvage these plants with some ladybugs. And that could be pretty cool to see how that works. So we'll check back. We'll be getting the ladybugs in about 4 days. Right now I'm going to cut off whatever leaves I see that have a lot of them on there. Like this leaf. I'll go ahead and cut this leaf off and some others. Seems they're mostly on the pepper plant. Haven't seen as many on the tomato plant, which is weird. They seem to prefer that pepper plant. But that's the update. We'll see if we can salvage them, and we'll show you the ladybugs when we get them and see how that works. So, November 12th. Alright, so it's still November 12th, and I did a lot of pruning to get all the leaves that had big amounts of them on there. As you can see, jalapeno plant looks a lot different. I still got some on there. I just finished pruning. So you can see there's still some bugs right here. And I'll get those off. But I pruned a lot wherever I saw the majority, and now we just gotta wait a couple days until the ladybugs get here, and we'll see how that works. Alright guys, it's November 13th now. As you can see, I did tons of trimming, and the plants are fine. They don't need all those extra leaves anyways. Tons of jalapenos here that should be doing great. And now that they're trimmed so much, you can see the tomatoes, and we have lots of new tomatoes coming in. Lots of new flowers still coming in all over the place. Looks like a little group back here. And then we have a couple nice groups up here. Nice group there. And groups of more flowers here. So we should be getting lots of tomatoes in there. And I'm still going to be putting the ladybugs on to finish off and kill everything that I can't see. But when we look underneath now, the leaves are all clear. You might see one here or there, but they're pretty much gone just by really good trimming. So we'll put the ladybugs on. I'll let you see that still when I do it. But looks like we salvaged them. They're all fine. And that's what they look like right now. Alright guys, it's November 17th and I got my ladybugs. As you can see, we have some crawling around here. I put about 10 or so on the plant. I ordered a packet that had 150. But I'm not going to use them all. That's way too many to use inside here. But as you can see, they're going and getting to work. So I did a lot of trimming on these plants. Almost all the bugs are gone. It's really hard for me to even find one now because I've done a lot of smushing, cutting off leaves that they were on. So it looks like the plants are saved, which is awesome. Hopefully these ladybugs will get to work and do a good job. And then we will check back in a few days, or a few days to a week, and see how everything's doing. Right now we have tons of tomatoes and jalapenos growing and more flowers coming up. So hopefully they'll start turning red, those tomatoes, pretty soon. Alright everyone, it's now December 11th, and this will be the last video. And as you can see here, tons of growth everywhere. Now, the bugs are gone. I got some ladybugs, I think I showed that. I still have some left. And all the little bugs were gone. Lots of jalapenos came, but the bugs killed off a lot of the flowers. So need some more flowers to grow, but I got lots of jalapenos off there. Tomatoes, this branch just fell over since I last looked at it. Not sure why, but there were a couple tomatoes. And it might have just been heavy, so I'm going to probably end up clipping off that branch, but I just noticed it, so I'm going to look at that after the video. but it's been producing great. Take a look over here. I'm not sure why this jalapeno is turning red. I've never had that happen. Usually they just kind of start, you know, they usually stay green, just kind of like start looking a little shrivelly. I'm not sure why that turned red. But as you can see over here, tons of tomatoes, and there's more back there, and there's more flowers up here. The tomatoes are really doing good, and we've eaten some of them. They taste great. So the tomatoes I really recommend. The jalapenos also are good. I'm just not sure why that turned red. Then I've got my peppers growing down here, green. This is just a flower my girlfriend got at Thanksgiving. And then I planted some of my own seeds over here. This is more salads. And then I got spinach and kale that I just planted over here maybe 2 weeks ago at the most. About 2 weeks probably. So they work awesome. If you have any problems with bugs, definitely try ladybugs. They worked really good, and I haven't noticed them around my house even. They just seem to like disappear in this room eventually. But these things work awesome. Really fast growth. You can tell that they grow a lot faster than the one in the soil here. And really would recommend them. So, it's the final installment. And I'd really recommend these AeroGardens as well as these AeroVars. I got 2 of them. I know I talked about having 1. I did get 2. And they work awesome. I only need to refill these like once a week instead of having to top up the AeroGarden like every day or 2. So, pretty cool. Have any questions about the AeroGardens, let me know, and hopefully this video showed you all how good they work. Again, these are the extra LED models, and we'll see y'all later. Happy gardening.